Hello to my party people out there in radio land. Welcome to this week's transmission. And the topic this week is renewal. Renewal is necessary. So, in keeping with the cycles of life and seasons that I spoke about in last week's transmission, we are talking about renewal. So they go hand in hand. Are they similar? Yes. But this one is a little different, right? It's kind of like twins. Like they identical, but I mean, they got their own personality, right? So, as a part of the renewal process, every living being experiences this, right? We see this most clearly in the animal kingdom. Snakes shed their skin. They literally shed their old skin. Snails shed their old shells, like once they outgrow them, and they just completely regenerate new ones, which is fascinating. People exfoliate away dead skin. Trees shed their leaves, right? Everything in the natural world goes through some type of process of renewal. So, the actual definition of renewal is, well, when you break down the word, right? I'm not quoting no Merriam or Webster. To become new, right? To become new. It's to become like new again, or as you once were, right? Re is again and new, right? I'm new again. So, it ties into your becoming your best version of yourself and seizing yesterday's energy to propel you into tomorrow. We renew ourselves by removing the layers that are no longer necessary for our survival and our thriving, right? Thriving, there's emphasis on that, right? I'm opening up my eyes real wide. Thriving, right? So that is how it works, right? You are becoming what you once were, right? You're essentially being restored, right? It ain't remaking, it's renewing, right? Something like that, you're going back to your original state. And by the definition of renewal, it's being implied that your original state was ideal. It was better than your current state, right? So you're getting rid of the old stuff and going back to that. So people forget that we are not supposed to remain locked into survival mode forever and ever and ever and ever and ever and ever, right? That is root chakra stuff. So, root chakra, right, is one of the first major chakras. Yes, there are a ton of chakras all over your body, but for all intents and purposes, I'm referring to the seven major chakras. And the root chakra is the first one, right? The one that is located at the base of your spine and that is associated with survival, right? Making sure you have food, shelter, a place to live, enough money, things like that. It also correlates to Maslow's hierarchy of needs if you are into psychology and science like that. Saying like that's the first basic need that I need to have met, right? You can't focus on anything else in life if you don't have, the basic necessity. If your stomach is growling, right? If you are cold. So that's what that means. Allegedly, this is what what separates us from the animals, right? We are supposed to be moving beyond the root chakra, right? As we evolve, right? So you're supposed to be, again, not just surviving. It ain't just survival mode. Man, I'm trying to eat. No, at some point you're supposed to ascend beyond that. You're supposed to get that taken care of and then go move on up the chakras, right? And ideally become more in tune with your spirituality. So, for example, rabbits, according to science, there go my air quotes, because yeah, it can be manipulated. They're locked into survival mode, right? Most animals occur, according to science, right? I have my own theories, are constantly in a constant state of survival mode, for the most part. Of course, animals just chill and they think, and I think they allow themselves to just be way more than humans do, right? Human beings. But for the purpose of this example, we'll say that they just are locked in survival, right? They just worried about what they're going to eat, if they'll have shelter, if they'll be warm, and of course reproduction too is also a part of that. So they're locked into survival mode, and humans, again, there's my air quotes, have the ability and the option to ascend beyond focusing all of our energy on hunting, gathering, and housing. So animals, that's what they do. That's how they make their living. They're constantly focused on survival, which is important, right? But humans, we have this luxury, this privilege to be able to provide for ourselves, to be able to plan for the future, put some things away for the future, and then be able to just to enjoy life, to do other things aside from surviving, right? So, of course, the flip side to this is that we must balance between being and doing. But that's a whole different discussion for a whole different day. So, the very nature of renewal implies that you must leave a part of yourself behind in order to step into something better. Or you must return to that which you truly are, right? You must go back to your essence. Your essence. So again, going to the easiest example I can think of, the snake. It goes through life. It accumulates things. The skin cells regenerate. They become old, right? It's not that the snake doesn't love itself, right? It just has to shed those dead skin cells. It outgrows them, right? As the snake continues to grow, right? The old shell does not fit anymore. We are doing the same thing. So, we just don't realize it. We are constantly shedding skin cells, right? That's what dust is. It's kind of gross, but it's dead skin cells that just fall off of you, whether you want them to or not. The same with hair, like it falls out of your head. There's a cycle of growth and birth and death to different parts of the hair and at different parts of your head at different times. Like, it's really fascinating. But you do that without even realizing it, right? You are shedding physical cells. It follows that you must also shed other aspects of yourself. The only difference is that it takes a conscious effort, whereas your physical shedding does not. Imagine if it didn't. Imagine if we had to consciously remember to shed dead skin cells, right? I shudder to think, right? It'd be a lot of people walking around with a lot of dead skin. So, as humans are a part of nature, right, the macrocosm of the universe, then we must do as life dictates. We must follow the cycle of life. Shed the dead layers and embrace the sun. Embrace our true essence. Go back to that which we were before, right? That which we came into this existence as, right? We came in as innocent, pure souls in tiny little bodies. Go back to who you are. Disengage from all of the societal garbage that has been put onto you, right? That has been placed in your aura. And this also goes for jobs, relationships, housing situations, cars, food, you name it, right? Shed the layers. And that's all I got to say. Thank you for listening. Have a great week. Love, live, light, laughter. Bye.